Hello and welcome to my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026. It's episode 9, the midweek edition, where basically I am now finished work, getting ready to do my interval session, as it's Wednesday, obviously midweek. And that's just the one other run to kind of just quickly recap over. But first of all, what am I doing? Like I said, not scripted, so I just forget what I'm supposed to say, really. I am obviously running Bergen City Marathon 2026, but my training plan has been devised by obviously myself slash chatgpt, or using chatgpt. But it's also been heavily influenced by the philosophy of Lee Grantham. You can see all of his videos, just search Lee Grantham. I absolutely love his structure and the way his methodology, his methods and all that lot. I was going to do a really big word there, but I don't even know if it is an actual word. So but I love just the way he does his routines. And I follow his exercise, like strengthening and all that lot, and also incorporating his long runs and his interval sessions as best as we can through ChatGPT. For some of you that have been watching previously, you can see that ChatGPT has been kind of going a little bit off-piste a little bit on some of the bits, so I had to kind of really restructure that back in and all that lot. So that's basically how we're doing it. It's been working well, as in my opinion. I do enjoy it. You have to know the right questions though. And the way to kind of chat with ChatGPT, because like I said in previous videos, you have to kind of really steer it to where you want it. So you kind of should have a little bit of an understanding of training plans and how they go. I'm not the best person to kind of tell you all about that. There's plenty of YouTube videos that have training plans and how they're structured and all that lot, which I watch myself to learn a bit as well. And then obviously doing 6 marathons now, I can kind of know a bit of a training block and marathon running and all this lot. But the Lee Grantham style, I just absolutely love that whole bit. So without having him as my actual coach, I'm trying to do the next best thing for now. And Monday was obviously the only run I've done so far this week after the long run on Sunday. Basically, it's kind of like a recovery easy run now, as we kind of come out of this build phase, and now we're getting into the big kind of peak marathon phase. And that, so we'll just bump up the heart rate parameter a little bit, but still a very easy run. It was over 7 minutes per kilometer. Finished it just under 6 kilometers. I was literally like 2 minutes short of my run, but I had to kind of pull out. I had to stop because I got caught short myself. So that's something that I kind of need to look into, because that's still happening a little bit too much on some of my runs. Luckily, no accidents yet, but it's not like the other training blocks. So maybe just my timing structure is a little bit out, and things like that, of how I'm kind of setting up before my runs, and that, which is causing a little bit of an issue at the moment. So basically, just a easy run on the Monday. Tuesday nothing because of the kids, and now just going on to the interval session now, which is going to be a warm-up for literally about 2 kilometers, and then it will be a 20-minute straight block, up to about 148 beats per minute, which is kind of beginning to be a little, just a little bit lower than the marathon effort, and that. But that's how we're going to start with that. And then 1 minute recovery. Then it's going to be 5 times 5 minutes, which will be marathon effort, and just holding that as best as I can. It's very windy and rainy outside, so it will be interesting to see how that goes today. But a normal interval sessions with an extra bit added on. So we're trying to get this run done, and then I will report back a little bit later. Catch you later. So I'm home. I thought it'd be easier to do the kind of recap and finish the video here at home. As you can see, or might have heard in the previous bit, it got a little bit busy in there in the changing room, so I didn't want to just stand there talking to a camera looking a bit odd to people. Obviously, I'm talking in English, and you know what I mean, I gathered in Norwegian. It doesn't matter, but yeah, just thought it'd be a bit more not off-putting to finish the video here. And that, so it was a good session. You know, it was a good session, but it wasn't quite the session we needed, and I'll get on to that shortly. But basically, just over 14 kilometers in an hour and just over 1 hour 27 minutes, with an average heart rate of 143. But as you know, I don't really worry too much about those kind of parts of the data on these runs, because it's more about the actual oomph part, the actual 20 minutes of steadiness and 5 times 5 minutes and that. So obviously I punched it all into chatgpt as well, and like I said, we'll get on to that shortly, because like I said, it wasn't the actual session that ideally I need at this stage. It was good. In the sense of, it turned out to be a steady aerobic session more than an actual hitting marks. You know what I mean? It was very windy out there and that, but obviously I punch all my stuff into my watch, like give me the heart rate caps and things like that. So the watch beeps at me, tells me the heart rate's too high or whatever. Like I've said in other videos as well, I kind of get onto that cusp of just being right on that edge, and then I try and sit there. But in all of this run, it felt comfortable. I wasn't kind of wishing for it to finish or like, oh wow, this is tough today. You know what I mean? It was different going into the headwind and that, where you kind of notice you're getting forced back and that, but you can't accelerate because you're going to go through the heart rate bit, and then my alarm keeps buzzing off me. So it was a comfortable run. So it wasn't pushing me to where I want or where I needed to be. And the steady run, I've got the data here as well. The steady run, 20 minutes, I covered 3.42 kilometers, average pace of 5:51, and I'm an average heart rate of 146. So that's lower than my marathon pace that we're looking at, or average. I say pace, my heart rate. The maximum heart rate was 153, because that's what my watch beeps at me. Slow down. So I did, and that. So I just didn't feel like it was a normal run now. You know what I mean? It was a comfortable run. I wouldn't say easy, because it's a slightly higher heart rate than that, but 146 is not, for me, and the way I've been training, that's not been crazy high either. Well, it's not crazy high. It's in Garmin, that puts me in the middle of my zone 3, which a lot of people say that is still an easy run. So, and an easy pace, and it's, I would say, conversational. But if I talk too much through that, then the heart rate goes up anyway. And that. So then we get on to the 5 and 5s. And this is where some of it really did show with the headwind going into it, because when I was doing one, where are we here? Yeah, one of them. So normally we were about 0.9ish of a kilometer, and that, but there was one that was kind of like 0.85. So that was, in my head, quite a bit back, and you could see that with the pace as well on that one. That was a 5:51 pace on the slowest, and that, but the normal ones, there was two with 3 seconds between it of 5:30 and 5:27. So and the 5:27 was that was my fourth one. So where I should be feeling bleh, it was and I actually felt it. It was a great run. It was really good. It was just cruising along, um, kind of minding my own business. You know what I mean? I just ran it and just felt comfortable, not kind of out of breath and that. None of the reps were out of breath or anything like that. And I was never kind of, oh, we finished yet? Oh, we finished yet? Never like that. I slow jogged the recoveries and that's my heart rate still went down to 100, less than 140 because I know when I started back in the run, it would beat back at me saying heart rate too low, 140. So you mean it was a very different run to what we wanted. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it. The distance was great, and I just loved it all. But it wasn't progressive, and that. And so now we're getting to the ChatGPT stuff, and that. So I punch in all the data it wants normally. The average heart rates between the reps and all this lot and all that lot. And then it comes back at me saying, right, I'm not going to sugarcoat it now. I'm just going to tell you as it is. Great executed session, but it didn't stress you for what you needed. It was too comfortable. It starts saying that I was too strict on my caps and the capped heart rates and that because I said I kind of felt that I was running with handbrakes on, really. So it was telling me that I was too kind of structured with the heart rate caps, and I had to reply to it. Come on, you set this up. You set those barriers caps, which also I punched into my watch from the direction of what you told me to put in, and all that lot. So it kind of wants me to be a little bit less stricter on that, but then it's got to say, well, don't set your watch to that then. So that got a little bit frustrating and that, but bearing in mind, it did send me on a short or a less aggressive run anyway, because I had kind of had this in, and then 2 days, like, we set this up on the Sunday, and then Tuesday evening, it set me up to do the run I did yesterday. And I did question, why are we cutting it shorter or bringing it down? And then it was like, oh, at this stage now, you're coming off of that fatigue of the legs of the Sunday, which I felt fine. And that, we're not on that now. We need to make sure that you're not going to jeopardize the Sunday run. And I get that. But I'm also needing to stretch that rubber band. And today we just held it. And ChatGPT did say that. You didn't progress on that. We didn't stimulate you enough on this run. But like I said, I had told it we need to progress, and that, and so now it's kind of locked in all this stuff now to kind of say that next week we will give you the higher caps and all this lot and giving you pushing it, because I'm also saying that on these interval sessions, the idea is to try and run quicker than marathon pace or heart rate. So then marathon pace or heart rate feels easier on the day. And that. So there's a lot of reasons why we have to have all these different kind of rates of heart rates in our runs to kind of in a full structure to kind of get it. You do the easy runs just to kind of keep maintaining mileage and easiness and getting your heart rate low so it adjusts to that effort, but also to kick up the top speed to kind of getting your body used to that a little bit, and then obviously dialing it back a little bit. So there's all these different structures of speed in your routine, and that, which really help you progress quicker than if you just stayed at the same speed all the way along. So you mean it's we're trying to get that structure in, and all that lot, and it had been working, but it just kind of went on a little bit of a glip again, and that. So now we should have that all fixed. But I have only got 2 real interval sessions left now before we start tapering. So it has given me already next week's, which will be the same again as this week, but with the higher caps on the rate and on the BPMs, and we'll see how we go on that one. You mean I'd already said last week it's too easy enough. I mean, I always want to finish the reps, be able to do more, but not as easy as this has been, and yesterday showed that as well. But still, great hour and a half. I mean, or just under an hour and a half of work. Doing a little bit of different ranges as well and all that lot, but it just wasn't quite where we needed to stretch that rubber band. But it's still mileage. We're still getting there. Long run comes up now, so rest up on Thursday. Then it's Friday easy or recovery. Saturday easy run, and then Sunday long run, which we're looking forward to that. We really kind of see where we are. So yeah, we'll call that a wrap. Yeah, ChatGPT is working, but it's also, again, not being quite where it needs to be, and maybe I should have jumped in and said no. But I'm kind of, like I said, I'm doing this as a bit of an experiment as well, and I have liked the structure and all that lot, but I just wish I had Lee Grantham as my coach. But this is the next best thing. So until then, and please click like and subscribe to the channel. Comment if you can, and yeah, follow me on Instagram, Neil_dad that runs, and I look forward to letting you know how Sunday goes. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.